Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. I've been watching the YouTube channel CM Bonsai. Chris Marshall, he has some beautiful trees, and he has one tree that intrigued me so much. It's his lemon cypress, which looks exactly like a maple tree in the middle of a park somewhere. It's amazing. So he did a how-to the other day, and well, I decided to try it out. So this is my lemon cypress that I got for $4 at Home Depot. $4.98, excuse me. And I'm going to take it out of the pot, and I'm going to look at where the root base might be. All right, let's get it out of the pot, and let's look at what we got. By the way, I don't know if you can see it, but this came with sprinkles or sparkles, and all of that's going to be cut away. So Chris got his out of the pot, and he peeked down at the amount of trunk that was beneath the surface. And in this case, and I think in his case as well, there were some branches coming from down there. And the reason I'm trying this is because I had a whole series of what you can do with cheap nursery stock. And this is about as cheap as it gets. And you can get some really nice shape out of this. Chris also said that of all his trees, this one requires the most maintenance. And then my ears perked up. And I said, ooh, do I have what it takes to keep up with a tree like this? I don't know. But for $4.98, I'm sure going to try. So I've already picked up about 3/4 of an inch. I'm not going to do a ton of root work. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this in just a bowl that I converted, a plastic bowl that I converted to a makeshift bonsai pot. This is quite nice, and it looks like it might actually have a radial root base at some point in its life. There's some stuff going on down there that will require further investigation at another time. So I want this tree to live. I want to get rid of these sparkles, and I'm going to get rid of those lower branches. I have a finer and finer touch here. This just looks like a lot of fun. It looks like something anyone with half an interest might want to try. This little branch, no more. This one, no more. This one, no more. These, goodbye. And look at that. See, you gotta uncover what's down below before you can decide how tall you want your tree and where your first branch might want to be. Okay, so let's look at that. The lowest formed branch on this tree, when I say formed, I mean sort of lignified, if you can see the difference in color. This one's starting to lignify. This one is a little further along, probably the most lignified on the tree. And that's kind of high. So I'm going to want to bring this branch down on a gentle slope and open it up from the trunk of the tree. The next branch up is kind of high as well. So this wants to be a tall tree. And if I can fatten it up, I can live with that. But it's got to get fatter here, and I got to decide how tall this tree wants to be. So I think that is my first branch. Now this tree has a propensity to grow straight up, and that's the struggle. That is the struggle. Do I keep this and try to develop it as my lowest branch? This is really where I'm seeing branch structure beginning. Yeah, I think I will. It's not lignified, But if I take care of it, maybe. And then a second branch can be this one, and then the third, that. This one's opposite that. I don't know. You know, you always got to think about the front, but at this stage, I'm not thinking about a front. And I'm putting it in a round pot, so let's see what happens. Okay. Lowest branch next. Then this one's very lignified. Let's clean it out a little bit more. And I also watched Bonsai by the Sea, James over at that channel. He did a show with his grandson, and they worked on a lemon cypress. And his grandson was loving the smell, and I just got a whiff of it myself. Okay, so these have to be really carefully manipulated. So it's more than just my maintenance skills that are going to be challenged here. It's also my wiring skills. I'll comb that out as well and flatten it out. Okay, what is obviously in the way, I'm taking out. And then I'm not going to be able to avoid the question of how tall is this tree very soon. In this view, I could have lots of nice branching and see most of my trunk. All of my trunk, really. So if I'm going to be wiring branches out, let's say this one, and developing ramification, which some of these already have, they divide into multiples, and I just have to simplify that and put them in places where they need to be. Yeah. This is, and stay on top of it. Oh, Chris, this came to me as a challenge, or I feel it's a challenge, and I want to take it on. I mean, he went in and snipped. I'm really taking my time here because there's a lot to look at, and on multiple dimensions. Okay, this one's got to come out and forward. This one's got to come this way. Now I've got two areas radially filled without making the branches look too awkward. That one comes out just the same place as this one. I mean, I got to have a back branch that reaches down. And is this next one up there big enough to reach down? It is. But I've got to give it an arc off the main trunk. I can't bring it down so it comes out at 90 degrees. I've got to give it an arc. That's something I think this tree can do, but some of them are going to be a challenge, like this one here. That's already quite stiff. Let's look at simplifying this. All right, if this is going to be, I'm going to tackle the branches because they need to get out of the way and they need to inform the branch above. So this has a section that's growing up. This has a section that's too close to the trunk. Comes up and it divides to two. Actually, it divides not at the same spot. It's actually a division of three, but I kind of like that because it can be flat. Let me just take this upper piece off, and I've got three branch divisions, 1, 2, 3, and then the middle one further divides, and then it further divides after that. So I think I can nicely shorten it to here. I'm just doing it roughly. Okay. These require very sharp scissors. I just noticed. All right, and and I'm wondering if I can't train this by like frequently damaging the wood. I mean, it stays a little bit, maybe repeated. Yeah, no, I don't think so. All right, so this branch. All right, let's go into time lapse and you'll see what I'm doing. Well, I took a lot off the tree, including the whole top and most of the sparkles, fortunately. I hope they compost. And I hope you can start to see the shape that I'm going for, which is a rounded, sort of upswept shape. Outswept and upswept is what I'm going to be going for. So there's some wiring yet to come on this tree. I don't have time today to get to it. I'm going over to see my my grandson, the local one. So happy to have. So I'll say that's all for today, but I'll probably continue this video with the wiring or any adjustments. Now these little profile cuts, they're very haphazard and just by eye. So I've got to watch this tree over the next few weeks. It's way simplified, and Chris also said that this tree would be kind of bare when all was said and done. And I'm seeing that play out right in front of me. So this is going to work out quite nice, I think. And if that's the apex, I'm going to let it bush out in all directions. If this ends up being the apex, or I could strengthen this and let that other one die off. Here's a branch I can take right off. I'm glad we had this time together today, and we'll continue this on another day. But I hope you can see what we're going for here. This branch will be coming out, so it's probably a little bit too long. Taking a long part off and leaving, leaving this and shortening it. This kind of really butchers the ends, especially if your scissors is not quite sharp. That's something to watch out for. Use a sharp pair of shears. Or maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know how these grow. So I've taken a lot off. I don't know if you can see it in this view. There and there. Check out the sparkles. I don't miss them at all. I'm going to stick it in this bowl, fill it in with bonsai soil, let it recover from this, and let me start seeing how it wants to grow. And at a later date, I'll be dealing with the roots, which could be quite nice. That was a bowl from the dollar store, which I drilled a hole in. It's kind of up on little, it does have space underneath it, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'm just trying to gently comb out the bottom of this root base. It is very flat. So I'm going to have fun with this tree for quite a few years. It's cold hardy enough that I can leave it in the greenhouse. I mean, you know, they had it outside at Home Depot, and it says zone 7. I'm in zone 7A, so I should be okay. I don't think I would leave it out until it's a much older tree, and even then I would watch it like a hawk. All right, I'm going to plant this up off camera. Next time you see this, we'll be doing some wiring. Hello, and it's the next day. I had some fun times holding my new grandson and stepped away for a while. But I came back this morning and I did a little wiring. I wired these 2 branches because these 2 branches seemed woody enough to do it. And even at that, this was a pretty delicate operation, which is why I didn't want to show it to you. But these branches down here, which are going to be important to the composition, are a little too delicate to wire. So what I did was, I tried a couple of things. I tried wedging a piece of wood in there, it wouldn't stay. I tried then gluing that to the wire, it wouldn't stay. So what I've done is just put a very loose vinyl sleeve on those branches. It helps push them away from the trunk, which is what I want. And later on I can apply guy wires, just sliding these down the branch a little bit and applying a guy wire. But I'd like the angle to be kind of where it is right now, maybe a little bit more open. All right, so you're looking at, I think, the front. Right about here. There's a hole over here. I'm hoping this branch and perhaps this branch can help fill over time. And I'm not done positioning the branches. This is a good start for a tree that grows like Chris Marshall's lemon cypress. And I haven't reviewed the video from yesterday at all, but I don't think I emphasized how very cool Chris turned a lemon cypress into a very, very credible bonsai. So go check out his channel if you haven't already. From the subscriber count, it looks like you have checked out his channel, Chris Marshall CM Bonsai. And you'll see what I'm hoping this tree will look like in 10 years. Very thick trunk. I'll work on the nabari. I'll keep positioning the branches. I see what needs to be done now. Thank you, Chris, for that how-to. I've taken quite a bit off of this, including some I did off camera today. There are a few edges I'd like to refine. And I'll look for where the holes are and I'll try to fill them in over time. But right now I'm just gonna pare down the tips on these. I wanna see how they grow. I have no idea. I'm using probably my sharpest scissors. It's for dog grooming. I use it to groom the moss. And let's see what I get here. I'm sure these ends are gonna brown out. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Like I said, I don't remember yesterday. I'm going to take that hard part off. I think I'm going to take the end off of this. Let it reach out a little bit. High hopes for this branch to come in and fill this space. And this branch, which I will train into this area. But as I say, I mean, I could wire this branch now and this one behind it, but I may try something else. I may try a guy wire if I can figure out what to do with this pot. I spent like a good 3 minutes trying to drill a hole in this pot. Can you see right here? This is harder than any ceramic I've ever tried to drill, and it's plastic or melamine or something. but I was unable to drill. I was going to drill some strategic locations for guy wires. This is just a, you know, a dollar something pot or 39-cent pot or something that I got at the dollar store. Drilled a hole in the bottom. Yeah, I'm going to try and figure some way out, some way to wire these two down, or guy wire them down just slightly. All right, I'm going to work on that, come back and show it to you, and that'll be it for this tree. And here's a final look at my lemon cypress. I did some weird stuff. I put a little guy wire here. There really wasn't much. Without being able to drill the holes, I wasn't able to do what I wanted with regard to the guy wires, but this will do. Take it for a little spin around. There'll be a front in there one of these days. These will help pull these down a little bit over time, and I will shape these branches as I see fit. I'm understanding that they will want to grow up this way, so I will keep plucking away at them. This one I was thinking of taking down, since it's heading up now, and I'd like it to head up a little further up. I was thinking of taking the heavy part off right down to here. Let me look at it, taking this much off. That's not enough. I think I'm taking that much off. So that's what it looks like. What do you think? Well, whatever you think, thank you for keeping me company in my backyard.